Arsenal will go 3 points clear at the top of the Premier League if they beat Chelsea at the Emirates tonight.
Yeah, Mikel Arteta has been full of praise from Mauricio Pochettino, who he says was a father figure to him when he started his playing career at Paris Saint-Germain.
I was 17, 18 years old in Paris. I was thrown in Paris 1st of January, I think, with no experience in professional football. And he doesn't like it, but for me it was like a father. He really took me under his arm, gave me incredible advice. He really protected me, he inspired me. And I learned so much in those 2 years with him together. And from there, obviously, we maintained the relationship. And I knew he was going to be a coach. I admire him a lot for what he's done in his career. And he's always someone that I look to.
27 points behind Arsenal in the table. Are you confident that you can restore Chelsea to the level that Arsenal currently are at?
If we are confident into one day to get the same level, of course, we are optimistic and we are positive, and always in football, the most important thing is to believe.
Right, so Mark, the three contenders are in action this midweek, but Arsenal are first. Does that give them a psychological advantage?
I think without question that's going to give them a boost, and potentially if they had a bad result, how much of a boost would that give to Liverpool and Manchester City? When you look at Arsenal last weekend, they beat Wolves and they were first to play, so they could put the pressure on their opponents in the Premier League title race. However, the weekend before, they were last to play of the three sides and they lost at home to Aston Villa. So you'd certainly say, based on recent form and recent history, that playing first is certainly an advantage, particularly for that young Mikel Arteta Arsenal side. It's brilliant to watch, isn't it? They've only won once in their last 4 games in all competitions, but it looks like already they've shaken off the disappointment of losing in the Champions League. However, this is great because we just don't know which way this is going to twist and turn. And that was one of the themes that Mikel Arteta was talking about. So when we get to this point of the season, it feels like the games are decided in terms of the mentality and belief off the pitch just as much as they are on it. But does Mikel Arteta see an advantage in going first?
That helps. I think that helps because at the end you're winning your matches and you bring in the margins smaller and smaller. And that's the only thing that we can do at the moment because it's still not in our hands. And that's what we'll try to do. Perform really well, try to win the game. And if we do that, yeah, the pressure will increase for sure.
So Arsenal have experience from last season's title race. Of course, they fell away. They haven't fallen away in April this season like they did last.
Yeah, no, Arsenal have been a very different side, and you get the feeling just from looking at the outside, speaking to Mikel Arteta in press conferences and being around that group, that there is a very different feel. There's a different mentality. There's a stronger mentality and a belief that they won't slip up in the same way that they did last season. Let's take a look at the situation, because last season you can see very clearly how things unravelled at this stage of the campaign. Compared to this season, you can see very, very different. 3 wins in 4 in the Premier League. And you can see as well, Tom, from that graphic, despite that defeat in the 3 games they've won, they've kept clean sheets as well. We've spoken about how good Gabriel and Saliba have been at the back. They've been really rock solid defensively, and that's been a big reason why they've been so effective. But when you compare that to this stage last season in April, this is where it all unravelled. Manchester City defeat, it was a heavy defeat as well, 4-1, and then they went on to draw the next 3 games. They only won 1 match in April, that was against Leeds, but by then the title was well and truly gone. So you can see from the graphic in terms of the very different Mikel Arteta Arsenal at the moment and just how significant that could be between now and the end of the season.
Well, Liverpool play tomorrow night, don't they? Massive game. It's the Merseyside derby, all right? We were showing the viewers this yesterday, and in case they missed it, quite an interesting record that Jurgen Klopp's got at Goodison Park.
Yeah, Jurgen Klopp going to Goodison Park for the final time. And when you look at this record, actually, you might be quite pleased that he's not going to be going back there again, because it's not as good as you'd perhaps think with the success that he's brought to Liverpool. In 7 games, only won 2, drawn 5. They haven't lost, which is significant, but the biggest concern will be that Only 2 victories. Right now, Liverpool cannot afford anything other than 3 points. You have to go back to December 2016 when Liverpool last won. That was thanks to a Sadio Mane goal. And then he also got a late winner in a 4-1 win. That was in December 2021. 4 of those games, Tom, have ended 0-0. So they've been very tight, cagey affairs. And of course, in 2020, it finished 2-2. That was a season when Liverpool went on to win the Premier League title. The only title in 30 years, the only title for Jurgen Klopp. But will they be adding to that? Merseyside derby, anything is possible.
Well, Arsenal tonight, Liverpool tomorrow, Manchester City play on Thursday. But do have recent memories of dropping points against Brighton, and that's who they face.
Yeah, they've struggled at Brighton in some senses. They've only won 2 of their last 4 games. You have to go back to big wins as well that they have had. They won 4-1. That was in October 2021. They've won 5-0 in July 2020. But there has been a few surprise results, and Brighton are the type of side that go toe-to-toe with Manchester City in the style of football, the way they like to try and press and play, and that ball possession-based game. So this could be set up really interestingly for potentially being a bit of a banana skin for Pep Guardiola. We know that in the last 3 seasons where they've won the Premier League title, they have not picked up maximum points in their last 6 games. They've always dropped points, and both Jurgen Klopp and Mikel Arteta will be hoping they drop points and slip up again down on the south coast.